Got quite a bit going on this week. We'll be spraying, possibly spraying cotton at the end of the week. Smoothing out ground with the field cultivator and the vertical tillage disc. And then we're going to switch over into sowing wheat and get some wheat going. Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Casey. I'm a farmer here from West Texas. Today is September 9th, and I'm out spraying some layout ground. This was in wheat earlier this year, and we really haven't had enough rain this summer to germinate our volunteer wheat crop. Last week we received around 2 inches of rain, 2.5 inches of rain across my whole farm. See that weed in there? There's volunteer cotton. Right here's the morning glory, but what I'm after is to try to get that volunteer weed out. Someone asked about our rotation. Generally we plant wheat on half pivot, cotton on the other half. Albert is running the vertical tillage disc, plowing up some milo stubble that we're going back into wheat, and Cheeto's running the field cultivator behind me and the sprayer here. And we're going to try to get to planting some wheat this week on different fields, different rotations. And then we'll be trying to get some cotton sprayed. This field here is not ready to spray, but got quite a bit of dry land that I think really will go. So maybe by tomorrow afternoon, we'll be swapped over to start putting some defoliant and defoliating the cotton, taking the leaves out of it, and prepping the bolls to start popping open. And that way we'll be into harvest season. This volunteer crop, we want to leave this fallow. I don't want anything growing out here taking moisture from the crop we're going to grow next year. That's why we're rotating crops to conserve moisture. We're going to plow it, smooth the field back up, and hopefully be able to let it lay for the winter. And then next spring we'll plant it in cotton. Had a loose wheel bearing, so that's turning into a little bit of a project right now. The first bearing pack there, about to pack this one. So what I ended up doing is take my grease gun and I just squirt grease on my palm. And grease shoots out this side of the ball bearings, and then I flip it over and pack it back into itself and then go around it. New hub assembled. Okay, center bearing. Give her a spin. Seems pretty good. Stick the wheel on and we'll be ready to go do some plowing. I don't know what the happy medium is for wheel bearings. Seems like some of them like more grease, some of them don't, but sometimes too much grease is not good because it'll get warm and knock the seal out the back. So this is where Cheeto's been plowing. Well, it looked pretty. We only plowed the ground that was rough. We drug up some clumps and stuff down here. So I wanted to smooth all that out because we're going to plant this into wheat now. But as you can tell, like this little guy right here, he's still alive, and there's a little shiny one sticking up right there in the middle of the camera. This guy got sprayed, so he'll go ahead and die, even though the plow missed him. And then this side, where it's really smooth already, we just left it. So we just plowed to a certain point, plowed back into this playa lake is what that is there. But the yield was substantially bigger here. It got underwater, so our straw here was a lot thicker, and that's why it caused that plow to drag last time. So I wanted to smooth all that out. So we plowed essentially around the lake, get all this cleaned up real pretty, and we'll come back here in day or so and drill us some weed in the ground. So we got Albert out here. He is plowing up these milo stalks. Boy, does that plow look pretty. Right here's the overlap. Looks like there's a little strip of something here, but that's just kind of, I think that's where the baskets cross it both ways, kind of jerks stalks one way then jerks on the other way. I'm not sure, maybe it's just not disced as deep, but it's discing really level. We're gonna plant this in wheat. There's too much residue here to plant this in wheat, and if we go to combine the wheat, these stalks will be in the way because they're too tall. This is just a dryland field, so we're gonna disc it with this pass, and then the next pass we're gonna disc it with the row, with the direction we're gonna plant it. And then we'll hopefully by Wednesday, today is Monday, we'll come in here and we'll drill this. We're pulling it with 8320R. It's a 28-foot vertical tillage disc, or vertical tillage tandem. Looks like it's pulling pretty heavy. This soil's pretty wet right now. The baskets, rolling it back out level, knocking the clumps out of it. Initial plans here were to plant cotton behind this milo stubble. Commodity prices are awful. Cotton costs way too much money to grow, dryland cotton, to justify not making enough crop, and we do that a lot here in West Texas. We don't make enough crop due to drought. So by planting wheat, it eliminates a lot of risk. Spraying some more wheat stubble. Best way sprayer, 100-foot boom, 10 gallons of water, 148 ounces of Roundup on this little volunteer wheat. Truck here, good old 6-speed manual, bumping out about 65 mile an hour. This is the field I was spraying yesterday. So what I ended up doing, I sprayed this field, so we killed all the volunteer weed. I know it still looks green, but it's on the verge of going downhill. Last time we plowed this farm, we plowed it north and south, and I always like finishing the fields with the direction of the row that we're going to be planting into next year, which will be with the pivot. So this go around right now, we are plowing it with the pivot. Might be wondering, well, why did you spray it if you're gonna plow it? There's still weed out here that will make it through the plow. This ground is wet, and like for instance this guy, there's a chance that he could set back out. So by spraying this, he's gonna die. Even if he tries, he's not gonna make it. That way the field is really, really clean. That's what I'm after, is a really, really clean field. So we've been busy. Cotton defoliation is just right here, right now. Tomorrow I'm waiting on chemical. Today I can't start spraying today, or I'd like to. I'd be spraying right now. It's beautiful weather, very little wind. Perfect time to be spraying some cotton. It feels like fall right now. Temperatures are like in the 80s. It's nice. But what we're trying to do is get all this layout ground situated before we start spraying cotton, because once we start spraying cotton, well, that means cotton harvest is going to be here, and cotton harvest will take a long time, and we won't have really time to come back and be messing with this layout ground. So we want to get all our layout ground presented and done and looking really nice, and that way we don't have to worry about it anymore. So y'all have seen the field cultivator quite a few times. We're making some slight adjustments to it. What we did is we picked it up out of the ground just a little bit. That way it just tickles the ground. See if it finishes a little different or not. But it's doing a really good job. Really like the way it's finishing it. Like I say, we're not really worried about killing the weeds. We're just here to smooth it out. Here's one of those clumps I was talking about that we gotta get knocked out. You can tell it drug last time and then finally tripped and kind of made a pile of stubble there. So that's what we're working on getting cleaned up. And yeah, I drove my pickup right out in the field so I can get some money shots for you guys. But we'll see what happens to this clump as he hits it. See what it looks like. There's that clump. Just smoothed it right out. Clump's no longer there. So I've been checking on Cheeto and Albert and plows and all the things. Thought I'd stop out here and check on some of this cotton. Looks like I got some verticillium wilt going on here. That's what these leaves are, crunchy and defoliated pretty much. We have some, it's called verticillium wilt. Gets in this cotton and it pretty well self-destructs itself. None of this stuff up here will make it all shed off. Had some cooler temperatures. There's a lot of immature growth in this cotton. All these little squares up in the top. I don't know if these will make cotton. There's a little bowl here. You know, this guy will probably end up making something. Chances of survival of that are slim to none at today's date, September 10th. If we have a good September, some of those might make. Ground's just black muddy. A lot of fruit shed happening in this cotton. You can see a missing position right there. Shed off, but then like this one's got four branches or 4 bolls on him. This is FiberMax 2498. Quite a few bolls in it down there in the bottom, but the upper parts of the plant, we just had too much heat this year, and that heat, the heat just ate it up. I'd hope this would be 1800 pound cotton. I don't think it's quite 4-bale cotton. I think it's missing too many positions. Quite a bit of shed in it, just down here on the ground. Guess I'll find out when I choke my cotton stripper down. Pretty big cotton. I'm 6 foot, I'd say that's at least 4. Got some open bowls in it down here at the bottom. Super blessed to have a crop looking like this one right now. Stay tuned for harvest videos when we get to this good stuff.